When Torcross guesthouse owner Ken Small heard stories of an object way out at sea that was snagging the nets of local fishermen, he had no idea of the tragic tale he was about to uncover. The object, 3/4 of a mile out to sea and under 60 feet of water, turned out to be a Sherman tank. But not just any Sherman tank. This was a specially modified amphibious version of the American war vehicle. Known as a duplex drive, it was identical to those used in the D-Day landings of June 6, 1944. But what was this tank doing lying underwater far off a Devon beach? Well, that's where this story gets interesting. I'm standing here at a memorial erected in 1954. It's a thank you from the US Army to the people of the South Hams here in Devon for their assistance to the war effort. How did they help? Well, it wasn't exactly voluntary. This tale begins on the 4th of November 1943. When an order came through from the British War Office, informing the residents of several villages around here that they needed to evacuate the area. By December the 20th, 30,000 acres of land, 180 farms, plus 3,000 people from 750 families were evacuated from the surrounding villages in just 7 short weeks. Why? 2 words. Operation Overlord. Operation Overlord was the codename used by the Allies for the D-Day landings, the pivotal moment in World War II that helped turn the tide against the Nazis and eventually lead the Allies to victory almost a year later. You've all seen the opening scenes of Saving Private Ryan, right? Well, that was the opening act of Operation Overlord, when thousands upon thousands of Allied troops landed upon 5 beaches along the coast of Normandy, codenamed Omaha, Utah, Juno, Gold and Sword. It remains the biggest amphibious landing in history, and such a large, complex operation obviously needed to be practiced. And because of Slapton Sand's similarity to Utah Beach, it was selected by Allied Command as the location for large-scale D-Day rehearsals known as Exercise Tiger. The exercises began on April 22nd, just a few short months after the evacuations, and went smoothly enough at first. But come April 27, things started to go awry. First, during the initial assault, an unknown number of troops were killed in a friendly fire accident when the rescheduled timing of a naval bombardment was not communicated to a number of the landing craft. You see, concerns about the battle readiness of the troops ahead of D-Day had led the General Commander of the Allied Forces, General Eisenhower, to make the decision to use live ammunition during the D-Day rehearsals. Then, early on the morning of the 28th, more misfortune struck Exercise Tiger. An accident earlier in the day had resulted in HMS Scimitar returning to Plymouth Harbour for repairs. This was one of 2 Royal Navy ships detailed to protect a convoy of LSTs, or tank landing ships, taking part in the drills later that night. That left the slow-moving ships with inadequate cover, and so when a flotilla of 9 German E-boats sailing out of Cherbourg encountered the convoy in Lyme Bay mid-rehearsal, disaster struck. The fast-moving German attack boats launched multiple torpedoes at the LSTs before coming under fire and retreating into the darkness. The results were devastating. 3 LSTs were hit by torpedoes, while another was damaged by friendly fire. One of the torpedoed ships managed to make it back to shore safely, but the other two sank. A total of 639 men lost their lives that night, many drowning after abandoning ship, while a total of 749 military personnel perished during Exercise Tiger as a whole. Operational secrecy, the D-Day landings were obviously top secret, meant that news of these tragic deaths was kept largely under wraps, the only information available locally being rumours traded among the Devon locals. All that was to change, however, in the mid-70s, following Ken Small's discovery of the sunken tank. He began to look into why the tank had ended up there. As he dug deeper into the history of this event, Small began to realise the magnitude of this tragedy and felt compelled to honour the memory of the fallen soldiers. He became determined to create a memorial that would ensure the sacrifice of those who died during the exercise would never be forgotten. So he decided to buy the tank, bring it ashore and dedicate it as a memorial. Undeterred by the countless layers of bureaucracy and the continued reluctance of certain authorities to help, Small spent several years and a substantial amount of his time, energy and money to make his dream of a proper memorial come true. All told, it took him 10 years from the discovery of the tank to raise it from its watery grave and place it into the spot it now occupies. A small service took place at the time, although it wasn't until 3 years later, in 1987, 43 years after the original D-Day landings, that an official memorial service took place. The US government officially recognising the sacrifice of those who died during the exercise and erecting a memorial plaque here at Tor Cross. During his efforts, Small also established a small museum in his hotel dedicated to Exercise Tiger, collecting artifacts, photographs and testimonials from survivors and their families. The museum became a gathering place for veterans and their families to share stories and pay tribute to those who were lost. His efforts brought attention to a previously overlooked chapter of World War II history and provided a place for reflection and remembrance for both veterans and future generations alike. Ken Small died in 2004 at the age of 74, but his work to establish a memorial for Exercise Tiger played a vital role in ensuring the bravery and sacrifice of those involved were properly recognised. If, like me, you're interested in this tragic wartime story, then you can always check out Ken Small's book about the whole episode. It's called The Forgotten Dead. Or you can look online, as there are many websites dedicated to Exercise Tiger, and I'll drop all the links in the description down below. And that's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this rather interesting yet tragic tale. If you did, then you know what to do. Give me a like, subscribe to the channel, or hit the bell for notifications on my future content. If you'd like to help support the channel, then you can hit thanks down below or go over to my Buy Me a Coffee page and see what's on offer over there. Take it easy, and I'll see you next week. Over and out.